That's why today we'll go through some of the do's and don'ts in America so you can blend in better and avoid any awkward moments and truly enjoy your trip. The first thing you need to notice is the US doesn't allow everyone to just walk in. If you are from a country that qualifies under the visa waiver program, you will still need an ESTA. That's the electronic system for travel authorization before the borders will be open for you. So it's quick and it doesn't cost much, fairly around $21. But without it, you'll be turned back at the airport. So for those who need the visa, the process might take a bit longer. That means you need to plan ahead. And also double check your passport validity. The US usually requires at least 6 months of validity left on your passport when you arrive. The next thing you need to notice, you need to plan your trip by region because US is so big to understand that. To give you perspective, flying from New York to LA takes about the same time as flying from London to Dubai. That makes it a very long journey. So instead, focus on one region at a time. So this way you spend less time traveling and more time actually experiencing the culture and the attractions. And don't forget your travel insurance. It's something that cannot be emphasized enough. Healthcare in the US is shockingly expensive. A simple visit to the emergency room can cost you hundreds of dollars. And something more like breaking a bone, breaking your arm, can even run into thousands of dollars. That means when you compare the small cost of insurance with the potential financial disaster of being uninsured, it's an obvious must for you to get insured before you embark on your journey. So do take advantage of the freebies. There is no point of buying large bottled drink when many restaurants offer free refills on soft drinks instead of paying for a large one. So in the US, you don't depend too much on public transport. Outside of a few major cities like New York, Chicago, or Washington DC, public transport is limited. In many cities, buses stop running early and trains barely cover suburban areas. So if you plan to explore beyond city centers, renting a car is the most practical option. And when you see an item listed for $10, you'll probably end up paying more because sales tax gets added at the checkout point. And the amount depends on the state and it can vary from under 15 to nearly 10% increase. When you get to the US, tipping is deeply rooted in the American culture. The wait staff, the bartenders, and even some drivers rely heavily on the tips as part of their income. Even though most places accept cards, but cash is still king. So do well and carry some cash on you for tipping and other stuff. But assuming if you don't tip, it's not just considered rude, it can also affect how quickly you are served in the future. In many US cities, smoking cigarettes in public is heavily restricted. Ironically, marijuana is illegal and socially accepted in some of the states, while cigarettes can get you dirty looks. Need to note, they are straight about checking your IDs because if they fail to check, they risk heavy fines or losing their licenses. And in the US, there are two sensitive topics we don't discuss or debate on: politics and gun rights. So unless you know the person well enough and the setting feels appropriate, it's always better to avoid statements. In America, greetings like "how are you" or "how is it going" are often just another way of saying hello. So most people don't expect a detailed answer or expect you to express your problems and whatever you're going through within the day. When you get into some do's and don'ts I have for you today when visiting the US, by understanding these cultural differences and travel guides, and share this with someone who is planning their trip to the US. I'm your Obrane as always, my crowd.